Привіт! I'm Chuck, a Ukrainian-American baptized with the name Yaroslav, which is also the name that I use in the historical reenactment group, the Society for Creative Anachronism, where I'm known as Yaroslav the Persistent, but most folks call me Yari. And I've been using my YouTube channel to share Slavic mythology and folklore and history and culture under the imprint Tales of the Borderland. And I came across something yesterday that I did not know about, and I decided to start really digging into it. And that's about the Chumak traders. So, brief history of who they are. Okay. Chumak was a historical and traditional wagon-based trading occupation in Ukraine in the late medieval period until it passed out of existence at the end of the 19th century when railroads made longer trade routes unprofitable. And they're mentioned in songs that are at least 5 centuries old, so I guess they could be within period for us, at least at the tail end of the range that the time period that the society tends to cover. Chumaks transported goods in wagons pulled by 2 oxen, often of the Bessarabian breed, and they were paired with a yoke, and they basically facilitated trade from the areas of Halichnia, bringing salt from the Crimea and salted and dried fish from the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov and the Don River, in addition to other items such as grain and farm products. In time, their range expanded, trading between the Moscow state, or Muscovy, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, the Crimean Khanate, and Moldavia, as they developed into a merchant class, becoming the main carriers of bulk cargo. Teamsters. The name Chumak, okay, there's some controversy as to where it actually comes from. Some sources say that it comes from the term chum, which referred to a wooden container that was used by the Chumaks for transporting salt and fish. There's another theory that says a chum was a measuring scoop that was used by the salt traders when they sold salt. And the Chumaks did control 50% of the salt trade between the 17th and 19th centuries. This way of making a living was common amongst all classes of the Ukrainian population, but particularly among the Cossacks and well-to-do peasants. The difficulties and perils of travel compelled the Chumaks to organize themselves into trains of 10 to 100 wagons for the duration of a trip. In this way, they could defend themselves from attack by the Crimean Tatars and by robbers. So the Chumak way of life, that had a big influence on Ukrainian folklore and language and overall culture, due to the hardships and perils that kind of went with the trade. So, of course, more depressing Slavic stuff, right? Oh, and by the way, Chumak is also a Ukrainian surname. The life and customs of the wagoners are vividly depicted in Chumak songs, sung by the Kobzars. These are like wandering bards who played the bandura mostly, and lyrniks, minstrels who were often blind and who accompanied themselves on the lyra or the hurdy-gurdy. And that had shown up in like the 15th century in this part of the world. The themes of the songs are very diverse, and they deal with every aspect of the wagoners' daily life, departure, the misery of their families, their nostalgia, the hardships of life on the road, the loss of oxen, Tatar attacks, robbers, illness and death, longing for a beloved, the hard life of a hired hand, momentary distractions, their return home, love and marriage, the longing of waiting wives, the conflict between familial feelings and the obligations of the trade is one of the frequent sources of drama in Chumak lyrical poetry. and it's just permeated with a longing for good fortune. They depict the beauty of the steppes and the tragedy of illness and death on the road. I was going through some of the titles, and of course, some of them sounded so typically Slavically depressing, but I like this particular title for a song. Oh, beer is not being drunk. Something else that I found along the way, in the Ukrainian language, the Milky Way is called the Chumak's Way. So not only did I end up learning about a new trade I wasn't aware of, I ended up also getting a bit of a folk astronomy lesson, which I've been trying to track down for years. Okay, so quick intro to a profession you may not have heard of, or at least didn't know the name of, that existed, that united a lot of Eastern Europe. So until the next time, do pobачення.